Why can you understand Chinese but still struggle to speak it? Why is it so hard to use correct tones automatically? You've probably heard this advice: don't translate Chinese in your head. Just think in Chinese. But what does that even mean? How can you start thinking Chinese when your Chinese is still limited? This video will give you the answer. As a native Chinese speaker and English learner myself, trust me, and understand how difficult it is to stop translating your head and understand this struggle. I have 2 master's degrees. One was completed entirely in English and the other focused on international law, which required me to read a huge amount of English material. But to be honest, I was still far from fluent. Even worse, I could barely speak English in everyday conversations. I still remember going to a clinic in Canada for a blood test. Before inserting the needle, the nurse asked me to make a fist. I understood her, so I did it. But after she inserted the needle, I want to ask, can I? 我可以松开我的拳头了吗？松开，松开。But what is the English word for this action? If you speak English, it's such a simple phrase, right? But at that moment, I had no idea how to say it. I completely froze. From that day on, I started learning English differently. And that, I believe, is one of the most effective ways to become fluent in any language.
Issue in language education.
Now, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it with simple, practical steps you can start using today. But first, what does fluency mean? What is fluency? Fluency does not mean speaking perfectly or never making mistakes. It means being able to express yourself smoothly without constantly stopping to search for words or translate in your head. There are 2 sides to fluency. The first side is mental. Your brain needs to find the right words and build a Chinese sentence quickly. The other side is physical. Your mouth needs to become comfortable producing Chinese sound, 发音, tone, 声调, and connecting them naturally at a normal speaking speed. To become fluent, you need to train both. But how? By using
Comprehensible input. We acquire language when we understand what people tell us.
Comprehensible input.
Comprehensible input as the key driver of language acquisition.
What is comprehensible input? Let me show you. 我站起来，走向门口，拖鞋。我穿上拖鞋。哎呀，拖鞋穿反了，我把它们换回来。这是洗碗机，我要打开洗碗机。这个动作也可以说拉，拉开洗碗机。我拉开洗碗机，把上层的架子拉出来，再把玻璃壶拿出来，还有它的盖子也拿出来。然后我把架子推回去，再关上洗碗机。我拿起玻璃壶，把它放到这儿。你知道这个机器是干什么用的吗？这是豆浆机。豆浆机，我现在要做豆浆。豆浆机就是把黄豆做成豆浆的机器。我按下按钮，打开豆浆机的盖子。这是一袋黄豆，这是一袋黄豆。我把袋子打开，然后把黄豆倒进豆浆机里，倒。现在我把袋口封好，我关上豆浆机的盖子。这个豆浆机是触屏的，我点一下启动这个按钮，可以看到这里显示了不同的模式，我就选第一个模式，然后再点一下启动，屏幕显示需要25分钟，要等一会儿。我打开冰箱，也可以说我拉开冰箱。我打开洗衣机，洗衣机。我把脏衣服放进洗衣机，我关上洗衣机。这是洗衣机的旋钮， 旋钮就是可以转的按钮，我转动旋钮，选择洗衣模式，然后按下开始键，洗衣机就开始洗衣服了。这是烘干机，烘干机就是一种可以把衣服烘干的机器。
A few moments later.
现在豆浆已经做好了，你看，满满的一大壶豆浆。这是把手，我握住把手，然后把壶拿起来，把豆浆倒进杯子里。我在喝豆浆，我拿着杯子，我拿着马克杯在喝豆浆。这是马克杯，马克杯。Comprehensible input is Chinese that you can understand through context. Even if you don't understand every single word, you can say the objects, actions, expressions, and situations while hearing the Chinese used to describe them. This helps your brain connect Chinese directly to real-life meanings and experiences. Without constantly translating everything into a native language, you do not learn isolated words. You learn how Chinese is actually used in phrases, sentences, and real situations. How to learn with comprehensible input. Now let's make this practical. How should you actually use comprehensible input? I recommend the simple 4-step method. Watch, reinforce, shadowing, and use. Let's look at each step. Step 1. Watch. When you watch a comprehensible input video for the first time, don't try to memorize everything. Your first goal is simply to understand the main idea. Don't look up every unfamiliar word and don't worry if you cannot understand every sentence. Use the visual information, look at the speaker's actions, look at the objects, listen to the repeated words. Try to guess the meaning from the context, from the situation. For example, when you see me at the fruit market, I pick up an orange and say, 这个橙子很饱满。它看起来很饱满，圆圆的，鼓鼓的，不干瘪，饱满。Perhaps you don't know the word 饱满, but you can say that the orange is round, full, and juicy looking. Then I show you another piece of fruit and say, 这个车厘子看起来也很饱满。You begin to understand the meaning without translating every word. This type of guessing is not a bad habit. It's an important language learning skill. Your brain is learning to understand Chinese from context. That's why I teach Chinese through real-life vlogs. On this channel, my goal is to teach you the 3,500 most common Chinese words through everyday life, travel, and real experiences. Each vlog is designed to help you understand how Chinese is actually used in real life, instead of memorizing isolated words from a list. I also repeat important words and phrases across different videos, so you can meet them again in new situations and remember them more naturally. This makes learning more practical, more memorable, and much more enjoyable. Whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced learner, this video will help you become more fluent in Chinese. Step 2. Reinforce. The second step is to use AI to review and practice what you learned. After watching the video, choose a few useful Chinese words or phrases and send them to ChatGPT or other AI tools. I've created a special prompt for Chinese learners. You can find the full prompt in the description below. Copy it into ChatGPT or other AI, ask the 5 questions, then send it the first words or phrase you want to practice. ChatGPT will explain each expression in simple language, show you how it is used in natural sentences, and help you create sentences about your own life. It'll correct your important mistakes, give you a more natural version, and explain the correction simply. Finally, it'll give you a short quiz and ask you one question at a time. This turns passive input into active practice. You are not just recognizing Chinese anymore. You are learning how to use it. Step 3. Shadowing. What is shadowing for? Remember, one part of fluency is physical. Your mouth needs to become comfortable producing Chinese sounds, tones, and connecting words quickly and smoothly. So, how can you practice shadowing? First, listen to the sentence and make sure you understand it. Then, pause the video and repeat the sentence. Finally, try speaking at almost the same time as the speaker. If you can't keep up at first, that's completely okay. Start by pausing and repeating, and just focus on imitating the pronunciation, tones, and reason. In my video, I speak at a comfortable pace, not too fast and not too slow, with a clear pronunciation and a natural reason. I do not speak too slowly because that would break the natural reason of Chinese. Natural Chinese is not speaking by pronouncing every character slowly and separately. Chinese has reason. Some syllables are stronger, some are lighter, and some tones change when words are spoken together. For example, 你好 is written as 你好, but when 2/3 tones appear together, the first one changes. So it sounds like 你好. Another example, 一 is not always pronounced 一. For example, 因一个 it's changed to a second tone, so we pronounced it 一个. You don't need to memorize every pronunciation rule before you start speaking, but repeatedly listen to natural Chinese and copying complete phrases, you will gradually begin to notice and produce these patterns naturally. So after watching the video, take a short section and practice shadowing it. Step 4. Use. After this video ends, look around you. Choose 5 objects or actions, describe them in Chinese. Do not write a long paragraph, just create 5 simple sentences. This is how Chinese stops being only something you study and start becoming a language you can actually use. Bring simple Chinese into everyday life. By now, you probably know the answer to the question. What is the best way to become fluent in Chinese? It's not about finding a perfect textbook. It's not memorizing thousands of isolated words. It's not about translating every thought in your head. The best method is to build direct connection between Chinese and the real-life situation and your real experience. Use comprehensible input to understand Chinese in context. Use AI to review and personalize what you learned. Use shadowing to improve your listening, tones, and speaking reason. And then bring simple Chinese into your everyday life. Don't just study Chinese, start living in Chinese. 好了，这就是本期视频的内容，希望对你有帮助。感谢你的收看，我们下一期视频再见，拜拜。
You whip up my appetite.